And I'm from Tanzania. I came to IPC as a student for springtime 2014. I took different subjects, but one of the subjects is for movie making. I learned a lot from the class, so this is made me to record some things about issues concerning Africa as a continent and African people.
For most part of my life, or for my entire life, I have lived in a very, what you might call distant place in Denmark, like a very traditional area, which means that I haven't had much interaction, at least in school and stuff, with people who were like very different from me.
Before IPC, I never have African friends, so I just feel a bit scared. For them, they hard or they get angry easily. They are conservative and they speak so loudly or so fast.
So I never really had a first-person life perspective of how they are or anything. I just seen the movies, and they speak like click clock, click clack.
I don't know if I had many prejudices about Africans. I think I'm aware that Africa is a very big continent and it has a lot of different countries and languages and cultures. But I think it's very natural in general for people to associate Africa with conflict, poverty, because that's usually the things that makes the news. So that's what we hear about.
Like people have this idea everywhere in Africa is like terrible and everyone's in a drought and everyone's dying of hunger, and it's not. Like there are good places as well. So.
But now they are very friendly and very fun and very kind, so I don't have that feeling for them.
And yeah, I mean, meeting the African people at IPC has been quite an experience. But also there, I realized that like you're Africans, but you're also from very different areas with different cultures, different religions.
I think they are very friendly and talk to them, and they really like dancing.
For me, it's a big challenge as a person to make sure that I'm doing something to change these stereotypes, and by doing this is to work more hard and to try to find ways on how to create a good mirror so that people from other continents and especially those people who are not trying to do more to find the reality about Africa.
Well, if it isn't Mr. Don't Get Two Shits, he squeezes one out and gets to his music, so you can smell the new sense coming from his new sense. You ain't new sense, I never put in my 2 cents, but these skills I knew since I was an infant, a little baby born a nuisance. Started his movement, and every movement another step towards improvement. Fit into some new shoes that he can groove with. Feeling came from within his soul, he spit it from his tongue, just to bring out that shit that he'd never run. Melodies in his head that he'd never sung. Oppressed by the rest, every raisin of the sun. You are not welcome here like a raisin in the sun. So So jetted out of here like a Batman on the run, Batman on the run. Killing these jokers with enough spit to fill 3 super soakers, super duper doobie toker, tucker sucking on a sucker in the middle of the summer. It's sure to be melting all your butter before you even get the chance to smother it on a biscuit. Cause I got some mad sickness and quick fitness. The cracker rapper dips Triscuits and cream cheese and mixes up Bisquick, served at the time you please. Indeed, he's needing those vitamins and minerals. Break it down, it really ain't that mystical. Kinda like wizardry, he spells out his means and advances artillery. Literally scary with the literary. If you're telling tales, then you're a fairy. Spare me your pears, I got food for thought. Fruit that don't rot, and bouquets of pot. Cooking up dirty shit, so you best use a smart when you eat what I talk. Cause I verbally assault vibrations from my mouth like lead to crack asphalt. And you crack asses thought he never had the skill to rap hard as a rock. But now I feel harder than the Pokemon of rock. Up in the spotlight, what the fuck you got? And what I got is rhymes that will never flop. When I'm finished with you, someone's gonna need a mop. You forgot how to spit a hot verse, you couldn't have brought worse. Get out my grill, stop cooking up bratwurst. Bunch of imposters trying to kick it with the obscure monster. You're not on my roster. You see, this hip hop I foster.
In Mexico, we call gato, and we say gatito, 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 bonito, gatito, gatito.
Gatito, 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 bonito, gatito, gatito, gatito.
In English, we say cat, and we call it by saying, here, kitty, 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 kitty.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
In Swahili, we call it papa, and we call it
Meow, 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 meow.
In Japanese, we say neko. We call them like oide, 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 oide.
Oide, 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 oide.
In Dagomba, we call that Jankuru. And we say, mush, mush, mush.
In Hungarian we say tita, and we call them like
We call the care Chinese for this. We want to call so come to mama.
in French we say un chat, and we call them like a puchi puchi puchi.
Puchi, 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 puchi.
called.
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow,
Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, and now we're going to hear from Alexa. Go, Alexa!
Okay, so this is only a part of what's in the Creative Writing magazine. So if you want to read the rest of it, buy the magazine. But here it goes. Here it goes. When I say I am from Mexico, the general thoughts that people have about the country are along the general lines of illegal immigrants, the Mayas, violent drug cartels, oversized sombreros, all-inclusive vacations, and insane American spring breakers who cannot handle tequila. However, that is far from the country I know. I grew up in a Mexico that is worlds apart from those discourses, those simplified images that make it easy to say, Mexico? Don't go there, it's dangerous. Not that mine should by any means be anyone's idea or impression of what Mexico is, because it's not. It's a reality of a very few, but nonetheless a reality as important as any other in understanding the complexity of its society. It is a series of ideas, experiences, and opinions that are as positive as they are obscurely negative and critical, but still in a way essential. When I think of Mexico, I think of modern constructions, the first world that at times brutally clashes with gut-shrinking poverty. I think of teenage boys in designer belts buying champagne, of young girls in high heels and huge bags that look like miniature versions of their socialite mothers. I think of trendy restaurants, expensive cars, beach houses and yachts, of clubs and parties and friends. I think of discrimination and classism, of corruption and jealousy and resentment, but also of the warmth and embrace of its people, of mediocrity, but at the same time of life and of colors of the streets. There's traffic jams and noise and chaos, but at the same time, there are moments of peace and complete beauty, of deep blue skies, but also the gray of smog and concrete, and the green of the trees, and the jacaranda that colors the streets with violet every spring. Of these, I must say, a few of these, I must say, are as wonderful as it gets. Few things compared to the taste of a good taco with salsa and a sip of mezcal, or a walk along the streets and galleries of La Colonia Roma. It is a country that has so much to offer, so vivid in colors and tastes and smells, so diverse and so hopeful. There are few people that will be as welcoming to strangers as Mexicans, so pleased to assist you or make you feel at home. There is a unique quality of authenticity in its traditions, its markets, and the life of the artisanal work, and even the tackiness of mariachi music. I have found no people that are able to laugh as much at themselves as Mexicans, people who can cope as well to the harshness of life with their humor. However, most of these I only know with the eyes of a tourist. My real problem with Mexico is that I do not know if I can in all truth call myself a Mexican. When I visit the markets, the women in the stands assume I am a foreigner. Just from my appearance, I am a güerita, blondie, or in the worst of cases, a gringa, slang for American. I can neither walk nor explore neighborhoods of the city that are not furnished with wealth because it would be dangerous. Therefore, I do not know most of the city I grew up in. People silently judge me for looking how I look, assume I am ignorant and superficial, and in no way similar to them. They judge me for living where I live or where I went to school, where I hang out. That makes me an outsider, a stranger in my own country. Tragically, the Mexico I do know is one I am not guilt-free from, but still one I find love. It is the ostentation, the superficiality, the appearances, and most of all, the close circles of the elite that make a city of 21 million people seem like a small town in the middle of nowhere. The gossip, the expectations that corrupt a youth, that robs it of its innocence and infiltrates its core. The smell of wealth that defines, forms, and rules everyone's mood. It is somewhere between sickening and devastating to think that those circles, those lives, are lived side by side with those affected by the darker side of our system. Those who live in a vicious cycle of a lack of opportunity, who cease to have a chance. Sadly, a lack of opportunity that does not in any way justify, but makes it comprehensible that robbery and drug dealing, for that matter, can cross someone's mind. This is as Mexican as spicy food, as much of our reality as indigenous women and our drug war. However, it is a reality I cannot accept, a role I refuse to take on, and therefore another reality of my country, which I am also somewhat an outsider. Although a few years back I did not completely understand the magnitude of why and how much I disliked it, and even sometimes fell into the temptation of vice, I simply never shared the ideology, never fully understood the mentality. It is something kids are born into, but something they will rarely, if not ever, question. It is automatic, a series of unwritten rules kept alive by stares and frowns, by the fragility of a reputation. I am guilty, I am, of being for a few moments, and maybe even more than few, drawn into the world of appearances, of worrying about being glamorous, of projecting a certain image, of caring what others thought, and at the same time, of being careless of others, completely blind about any reality besides my own. That is the real weight of my life, the regret of being part of that, of not knowing my own country, and therefore having to contemplate how I can ever dare to call myself a Mexican. How can I ever pretend to relate? How I can never pretend to relate, or that I fully understand the life of those women in the market. I cannot even blame them for calling me a tourist or being in any way offended. I am caught between an elitist society and I strongly dislike and a majority which I cannot relate with and whom do not wish to relate with me on the principle of where I grew up. Yet, although I am highly hesitant to call it mine, I still love my country. I really do. I love Mexico more than I want to let myself loved.
Wow. Are we unfolding or what? Let's have